Ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not have heard of Kwebbelkop, who's an OG YouTuber, mainly a kids content creator. No, not mainly, I would definitely call him that. I mean, if you take a look at his videos. Escape the Fart Man prison in Roblox. No one above the age of fucking 5 is watching that shit.
Hello, let me out, please, let me out. What? Did he just fart?
But you may or may not know him because he's been the subject of some controversy in the past, where he actually has some deep lore to him if you go down the deep rabbit hole about this guy. Back in 2017, I want to say maybe, numerous years ago, he did a whole series talking about his dad's illness and his dad's death. And you know what, at the end of the day, it's fine if you want to make a video, like even if you want to make a YouTube video talking about how you're dealing with grief or if a loved one passes away, that's fine. But the really weird part is that he started to gamify his dad's death and start putting his face in like a YouTube soy thumbnail type of way. And on top of that, he made like 3-4 videos on his dad's death when it was realistically like the same shit again and again and again. And plus, they all had fucking ads on it. So he's a weird guy. He's always been a little bit of a weird character, a little bit of a sociopath, some might say, especially for that situation. But something you can always track back to with Kwebbelkop is that he's money-brained. He's always concerned about how to make the most money as possible, which in a vacuum is actually a good trait. But the problem is if you sacrifice some kind of morals, if you sacrifice some kind of principles that you have to earn more money, then it becomes to get a little bit of a problem because as with anything in life, obsession or overworking at kind of anything tends to make other things in your life suffer as a consequence. You know, moderation is key, whatever. I don't have to give you all the self-help bullshit. But the interesting development that has recently gone on in his career is that he changed his whole fucking channel. He changed his channel to being completely AI generated, which me personally, especially as a guy who plays music and whatever and draws from time to time, I'm no fucking like artist, I would say. But the recent AI developments have been really sad to see. I mean, it's Pandora's box at the end of the day. Once you open something up, it's never coming. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, regardless how sad it is and how much I personally don't want to accept it. AI is going to be a thing in the future, a very prominent thing in any kind of media, whether that be movies, music, art, YouTube now, sadly. It's just going to be the reality. We've seen this with any kind of technological advancements. It's now become one of us. But Kwebbelkop seems to be the first YouTuber I at least know of that has completely constructed his channel, or at least is the most prominent YouTuber, that completely rebranded his old channel to being completely AI generated, absolutely. He changed his whole avatar instead of his little face cam in the corner to a little VTuber model, which I assume the long-term goal is to have like a completely direct one-to-one comparison picture of him and an actual video that looks exactly like him as a person, like his real human face. But right now his AI technology that he can at least afford isn't as advanced as that yet, so he has to settle for this little fuckhead in the corner. But the problem that a lot of people are having is that it's completely soulless content that is completely reliant on just algorithm farming to the ultimate degree. All of the worst things about YouTube that people normally hate, about having soulless content, about just doing stuff for views, he's kind of taking all of these things to the absolute extreme. I mean, just take a look at one of these videos.
Today in Roblox, we are stuck in a prison where the prison ward keeps farting. So I guess this is Escape the Fart Man prison. Let's do this. Guys, who is that? And why are we in a prison? Hello, let me out, please, let me out. What? Did he just fart? Why is he farting? That man is disgusting.
Yeah, it's just nothing complete filler cancer content. But to be 100% fair to Kwebbelkop before, even when he was a human creating content, it was almost even debatably just as soulless. Because if you do a direct comparison, I would actually find it to be pretty hard. Like, this would be a good game show idea. Detect which Kwebbelkop video is AI or not. Because even looking at his real life stuff, it's very comparable, if not one-to-one the same.
We're making the best dish in the world. Just grab a couple of pancakes or naan bread or whatever this is. Slice it all up. Make sure you slice it very, very thin. Just put it on there. We got some rocks, some sand, or whatever we're showing in here, some hurt. Very cool looking bee. Oh, Mr. B. Hey, look at this really cool villager town. This is so flippin' awesome.
But of course, just as we see in the music industry, the art industry, of course, YouTubers came out with their opinions about this, saying that this isn't good, this isn't a good culture to push onto the YouTube sphere, because eventually it's going to end up taking our jobs, but even more important than that, it's taking away the soul from making any kind of content. And I know that sounds fucking ridiculous. It sounds dumb, and it sounds pretentious that you're really putting in your soul into your YouTube videos, or that you're putting in all of like a piece of your personality, because it's not as much with music as a personal YouTube video, but it can be. It can be for a lot of people. It cannot be for a lot of people, as we see with Kwebbelkop too. But I think it's a completely fair criticism. It's a fair thing to say that we shouldn't push this agenda to like shackle human creativity to this extent where it's all AI generated slop that's calculated to try to get the most amount of views due to algorithm stats and all that, you know? Because that's not the reason why people blew up on YouTube in the first place. That's not why people watch creators. For a lot of things, especially more in the streamer sphere, it's the personal connection. It's the parasocial fucking connection that you have with someone else, you know what I mean? But you know, if there's one creator that's going to be able to do this successfully, it's probably going to be people like Kwebbelkop, because who is watching their videos? Who is watching how I became the strongest Roblox player or random bullshit like this? The floor is lava in Roblox. It's kids. It's children who are watching this slop that don't really know better. And I know as a kid, I don't really think I would give that much of a fuck, especially how much that I can't even really decipher the difference that much between AI Kwebbelkop versus real life Kwebbelkop. So kids eventually aren't going to care. So gradually content like this is just going to get extremely normalized. First, I think in the kids content sphere, but then maybe even the mainstream, it's going to take over people like me and you. So that's definitely a sad reality. But I wanted to go over some of the backlash and some of the opinions that people are giving, and the way that Kwebbelkop is responding to all of this, because he isn't just ignoring all the criticism. He's trying to act like he's unfazed by it, but he clearly much is annoyed at the amount of shit he's getting because he constantly talks about it on fucking Twitter. And he does give some genuine arguments and gives some of his headspace going into this. So it'll be interesting to see where his mind is at in all of this as a creator standpoint. But for the most part, to be honest, he's just being a tard on Twitter, rage baiting and just interaction baiting, which to be honest isn't doing too good for him. I mean, 15 fucking likes. But he's just saying random shit like Kwebbelkop AI has no gender, just to rile up people, because people are already spamming his comment section shitting on him, so I guess he's trying to play into the meme. I can't wait for AI to raise my kids. Shout out to all my AI supporters out there, which is like 2 fucking grand people in his audience. Kwebbelkop AI is killing it on Instagram with almost 10 times the views of my real life Kwebbelkop. Slowly but surely we're getting there. We're cranking up production to 14 shorts per week. And you know, looking at this kind of shit, especially on the TikTok and Instagram Reels type of content, it's even more depressing because people have even a lower bar for what they're clicking on with it when it comes to TikToks and shorter form content, when of course they're not going to give a fuck about whether or not this is AI. And I bet in fact that most of the time, especially as the technology gets better, they're not even going to be able to tell the difference, because already we see VTubers who have similar looking avatars as this Kwebbelkop guy, so it's already been normalized for these VTubers to kind of take up the space. And the average person viewing these videos that doesn't know any better is probably just gonna not think twice about it, you know? And due to Kwebbelkop basically making an AI model for himself, he's able to ramp up the production to such a high degree that he can just pump out slop each and every fucking day. But here, someone responds to his tweet saying, "I still will never understand how and why you could possibly think this is a good thing. I've said it once and I'll say it again. This is like a supervillain origin story." And Kwebbelkop gives a little bit of his headspace saying, "I can express my creativity in a more efficient and consistent way. This will result in better content in the long run and a more stable business for me and my team. A lot of people somehow assume that no human creativity is needed to create the content." Okay, but to be fair, dude, there's a huge important distinction to make between making a video completely on its own with all like human hands on deck to make the video, rather than an AI model generating this shit. Like, of course, behind the scenes, you're gonna have to adjust the AI model, and maybe if the AI model makes a mistake, you're gonna have to go in there yourself and work the gears a little bit, so to speak. But that still doesn't address the core of the issue to what a lot of people are saying, that it's making the content creation process completely soulless. But honestly, I don't think Kwebbelkop gives a fuck about that, because he's been creating pretty much soulless content as himself for years now. Because as a kid's content creator, I can imagine that making these videos day in and day out, just pretending to put on a fake personality, laughing at random retarded shit because you're trying to entertain little kids and not really even being true to yourself, that can probably be pretty draining on yourself. So I understand why he's doing doing it, definitely, because Jesus, I would not want to be sitting in that fucking chair every day, putting on a fake personality, acting like I'm Barney, entertaining a whole bunch of 5-year-olds, laughing at like Minecraft Steve farting in fucking Minecraft. But generally speaking, this is going to be very detrimental to the overall landscape, I think, of YouTube. And apparently he held a press conference that everyone was memeing on, saying such an honor to be invited to IFA and talk about AI creators, and people are pointing out that like most of the seats are literally fucking open. And look at his retarded AI model on the big screen. Like, dude, how are we not just laughing at this? He looks like a pedo. This guy's seconds away from having a twitlonger dropped on him, dude. You know you've achieved peak villain when you're convinced that what you're doing is better to better humanity while the rest disagrees. It's just a matter of time. People will slowly start to understand it and become a fan. Innovation is almost always met with criticism at first. Okay, you're taking partly things that's true, but then smuggling, like you're doing a Trojan horse and smuggling in the rest of your bullshit arguments of saying that you think this is going to be better for humanity. Yeah, in a sense, AI intelligence is probably going to clear up is going to make a lot of work go by faster, and that's good for things like labor, you know what I mean? But I think there's a very big distinction and difference between art forms and careers that involve creativity and incentivize humans to create things and be artistic and express their artistic freedom and the ability to get paid for expressing themselves like that. Like, it should be a good thing that there's incentives in society for people to go out and make amazing art. But I feel like pushing this AI culture is going to completely get rid of those incentives, and it's going to become that like a lot of art is just going to get soulless, man. I can't see how this is a good thing for any kind of art. I'm officially in my villain arc. Dude, this guy's so fucking corny. It's 2023 and we have the following: AI influencers, AI musicians, AI voice dubbing. See the patterns? Dude, that's just fucking depressing though, and he's acting like this is a good thing. I mean, seriously, dude, whatever musician are you gonna find that agrees with having AI generated music? Like, that takes away literally fucking everything. Soon, Kwebbelkop AI will reach a point of no return. Photorealistic Kwebbelkop AI will make it seem like it's me and thus make it impossible for the user. Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. That's what I thought eventually it's gonna get to. But for the user to distinguish if it's the real me or AI version of me, even if I'd be able to return to social media, no one would believe me. Is that a good thing? I feel like he's trolling half the time, but he's not, because he's actually taking part in this shit. When part of the good thing about being an influencer, I guess, I hate that word, but whatever you want to call it, is having the interaction of you, your personal self, and people enjoying your personality and building, I guess, a community behind people who enjoy you and building a community of like-minded people, you know what I mean? But that joy all gets taken away with AI. I don't see what the pros possibly could be for this other than making the most amount of money as possible, you know? Our goals often seem to get twisted by misinformation and assumptions. We're building tools for creatives, not automating the entire process. Whoa, 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 motherfucker. What do you mean building tools? Do you know what building tools is using AI generated things? It's like I use this personal thing for my thumbnails on my videos. I use an AI enhancer. So if there's a low resolution picture of someone, I'll throw it into that AI thing and it'll upscale it to be in a higher resolution and higher quality. So then I could put it in the thumbnail. That's an AI tool that is good for creatives. But you are literally building a fucking model of yourself that can run on its own accord. Yeah, of course, as I said earlier, you're gonna have to tweak some things if it fucks up, just like for the same reason you have to re-oil the car or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But what you're doing isn't simply a tool to help you out. It's to literally replace you so you can sit on your ass and don't really have to do your job anymore, so you can produce more slop. Our mission is to empower every storyteller, regardless of their background or financial support. Stories should be told by everyone. This guy is full of shit. What do you mean, dude? But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of into his headspace. Depressing as always, but at the end of the day, it's the inevitable future, which is just so sad. We can only hope for the best, and hopefully that AI generated the content is done the most responsibly, and hopefully that there's always going to be a market for humans actually looking out like real humans, organic content or whatever, which I do think there will always be a market for. Similar thing to music, similar thing to YouTube, similar thing to art. There will always be a market for that because that's what attracts humans to art in the first place. it's the meaning behind it, and it's the personal connection, you know what I mean? As cringe as that sounds, and as pretentious as that sounds, I mean, it's true. It's the main reason a lot of people like songs. It's the personal connection that they can feel with it. And I don't think, luckily enough, that will never be able to be replaced with AI content. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's the Kwebbelkop memes. I mean, look at this fucking guy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Daily content on this channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.